So I would also like to ask you, like you speak about different characters from mythology and how they are layered and how, you know, there's something or the other to learn from each one of them. Which one character from both the epics, whichever you want, is your favorite and you think is amazingly written in the sense of writing as well, but personally as well? Which is your favorite character and why?
Tough question. Most characters are, most key characters have been written very well and etched out, you know, in very multidimensional, complex, interesting ways. And mythology bhi aisi cheez hai na. It's like a pitara of treasure, correct? Of jewelry, gold, ornaments, gems, precious stones, etc. You shut your eyes, open it, put your hand in, okay, and close your fist, pull it out. It will be something
or
like
the other,
priceless.
Yeah.
And there's a whole sea of it available there. I think perhaps my most favorite character. It also, I mean, whoever I'm thinking about becomes my most favorite one. But I would say number one.
But I'll let your sense of writing dominate here and see which one is like, well, like, of course, it also depends on which.
No, it's not just how elaborately or how well it has been written out or depicted there, but what I make of it, how it makes my thoughts about that character
we'll
grow.
give a disclaimer, it's your personal favorite.
No, how it grows. I mean, how so what is it that triggers off very interesting thoughts in my mind?
Exactly.
For
you, it might be someone else. For me, it might be
obviously, as it has to, it has to be. I think Kunti.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, Kunti is a person who I have become I've grown increasingly fascinated with her.
Right.
Draupadi, of course, my God, superb. Krishna, because I find Krishna very complex. Since I am an atheist, okay, that is my mid-podcast disclaimer. So I don't
agnostic.
No, I'm saying atheist because I don't believe in the existence of God.
Which so therefore, you kill one of my questions, but
okay, because I do not, I do not sort of see or ascribe a religious color to these epics, that these are things of worship. I feel that these are absolutely great stories, the best stories in the world, and like all great stories and all great characters, everything can be questioned. So it's not, everything can be inquired into, because if there is something great, whether it's a work of art or whether it's a concept, it incites your interest enough to want to explore it further, and that is what mythology does. It invites you each time to go in deeper and deeper. That's how I see it. So even in Krishna, I mean, the more I've thought about him, the deeper that
Krishna
I have
is
gone.
your favorite character?
No, I started with Kunti.
Kunti, but you named 3.
Yeah, so I named 3. Now what can I say? You know, and if
so
you
let's make it top 3. Top 3 favorite characters.
No, then we haven't even gone to the Ramayana yet. I'm sorry, this is a wrong question to ask me about one character, because I have to start naming like 7 or 8. Okay, you know who else I find extremely interesting? Ram.
Of course.
Okay, now it sometimes becomes a little
cliche,
difficult to no, in fact anti-cliche, because it becomes difficult to speak or refer to Ram in public because it's become such a sensitive issue, and they've turned it into an explosive issue. Like, no matter if I speak fondly of him, it becomes controversial. If I, not just me because of that I have a profile or anything, but anyone in public.
Definitely,
And yet I find something very, very interesting and very, that the internal sort of conflict and challenge and turmoil and pain actually that he continuously faced is what I find quite fascinating, Sagar.
And the decision that he makes throughout, you know, are very interesting.
Yeah, the choices that he also sometimes is forced to make, you know, all that put together reveals a character who has a battle going on inside, and that is what makes for great characters, you know, characters who are struggling. Okay, who are not complacent that, oh, I know everything, and no, Because even if you take the whole divine thing of the Vishnu avatar,
Right.
the point is he is living life as a human being. I mean, he's
Exactly.
born biologically to a mother from
Exactly.
a mother's womb. He is flesh and blood.
Right.
You hurt him, I mean, it feels pain,
yeah.
and so and you disappoint him, he will feel hurt.
Exactly.
So all that is there. So he's living life as a human
Right.
being with human experiences,
Right.
and hence I'm saying this kind of inner questioning that he does and all. I find that quite extraordinary, actually, adorable, absolutely.
So
Okay, anyway.
let's get Kunti now, right?
Yeah.
You talked about Ram, and I'd like you to also elaborate on Kunti, because it is not a popular choice, but like what about Kunti intrigues you and makes you?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I find in Kunti
Right.
a driven character.
Right.
She's driven.
Empowered.
No.
No.
Driven meaning that she is constantly in a very forceful
She wants to get
way.
somewhere,
Yeah. And let's see what is it that she is sort of seeking.
Right.
She was married off to perhaps one of the most powerful kings in the subcontinent in the story, which is Pandu. And Pandu had conquered various kingdoms, and he was regarded as really fairly invincible as a king and well loved.
Right.
Gets married to him. The girl gets married and full of dreams of, and you're marrying a prince, king, you're going to become a queen, you'll become a queen mother.
Right.
You will conduct yourself with grace, you will have kids, they will be the rulers, you will bring them up. And so generally a certain fulfilling life a person dreams of before she is to get married. What happens? You get married and you realize that the man can't perform. Okay, if you take the divine magical version, then it's a curse which was there on him.
Right.
If you take the more sort of realistic version, then they say he was born impotent.
Right.
Okay, that he just couldn't do it because they say Pandu the Pale.
Right.
Look at the disappointment that the person faces.
Right.
Terrible. Matlab, nothing,
course.
everything crashes.
Right.
You're a queen, but you can't be his wife.
Right,
Okay, you're a queen, but you can't be the queen mother. Okay, you have a husband, but you can't have a family. So what are you looking forward to? Suddenly, 80% of your dreams have collapsed.
Right.
And yet she takes matters into her own hands. When they go to the forest, she is the one who takes the initiative and proposes to Pandu that I have this, boon that I can call upon the gods to actually impregnate me.
Right.
And he agrees with that. I mean, this whole practice of niyog was quite legitimate in our society, where with the consent of the husband, I mean, if the husband was not able to give someone a child, you could go there and the child would absolutely be the husband's and accepted as his son and all. And so she goes ahead and she has those 3 wonderful kids. She takes it into her hands. She gives 2 boons to Madri. Madri then goes ahead with the Ashwini twins and she has Nakul and Sahadev. And Kunti actually is in the forefront in the way in which the kids are brought up. The knowledgeable people are called, scholars are called, other people come and train them in warcraft, in statecraft, and brought up to be princes.
Right.
The whole idea being that now at some stage they will go back, they will claim their share of the kingdom,
throne,
king will rule, Pandu will rule, the kids will grow up, and then they will take over. And so that means she still is, that dream has come back.
Right, yeah.
Because she took the initiative and she had the patience and the fortitude to wait for that much time until they were ready. When they are just about ready, Pandu goes and dies.
Right.
And Madri is also sort of insists on committing suicide because of the sense of guilt that she feels. Everything comes crashing down.
Right.
You are a widow. You don't have a husband, you don't have a king. Your power of bargaining, your negotiation leverage has come down to damn near zero.
Yeah.
And you have these 5 kids. And you have one driven aim. My sons should get their right.
Right.
She comes back, she brings them back. She will not give up. She remains like not a mother hen, but like a mother hawk over them. She is effectively the leader of the 5 Pandavas. They look up to her. She occupies the role of the leader, of the patriarch, and the mother. It's a marvelously tall, statured woman who holds these 5 together, and she also knows that if their unity cracks even an iota, we stand an ice cream's chance in hell.
Right.
There is no way in which
can do
they
it,
will
yeah.
get their right. And her main aim is, my sons are princes. Their father
They
was
should
a
get-
king.
wow.
They should become kings.
Right.
They should. She never gives up. She continues to do that. She realizes that Bhim is in danger because Duryodhan poisons him and stuff, and she makes sure she remonstrates with the elders. The elders have not taken cognizance. Duryodhan hatches an evil plan of burning them in the middle of the night as they sleep in
Right.
the Lac Palace,
Right.
in Varnavat. She understands that from Vidur, goes there, makes a proper plan. She is the one who makes the plan.
Right.
Has a tunnel dug and gets out of there, remains in hiding, knowing that they are vulnerable. Comes the Swayamvar announcement of Draupadi. She sends Arjun with a clear view that if you are able to win that bride, then we have allies in the
Right.
form of Sandhis. And if you
Right.
have Drupad as allies and his allies are your allies,
Right.
then you have the negotiation power.
Yeah, right.
He comes back and she realizes that Draupadi was so striking, so alluring,
Right,
so
yeah.
beautiful, so attractive, and she must have been, my
Right.
God, she was some woman, that she insists that all the five brothers
Yeah,
marry her.
because-
So there should be no
Right.
envy, no...
Other
no.
than that, the
Yeah.
unity wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
And the
so
kingdom
this is my
wouldn't-
interpretation.
Right.
The other interpretation
Yeah.
is that, she mistakenly says, share it.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
Yeah, that is
yeah.
one popular belief. Yeah.
Yeah, I am going by this
Right.
for now. So she does that.
Right.
It's like a military decision that, okay, all five do that. An arrangement is made. And then when they are strong and she meets Drupad and all that, and then she brings them back.
Right.
Now even the Kauravas know that these guys are not
Yeah.
alone and vulnerable. They have these large allies. Let's not risk an armed conflict. So Dhritarashtra is forced to give them that.
Right.
She makes sure that she guides her children to build a hugely fertile, prosperous kingdom out of that barren
Right,
ruins,
land, yeah.
Khandavprast, which was given to them.
Right.
So, having done all that, the Rajasuya is performed. She is presiding over her children.
Right.
Happy that they're doing well. Finally achieved her thing after this huge
Years,
setback.
yeah.
2 setbacks. Managed to bounce back. And Yudhishthir goes and squanders it all. And can you imagine her frustration and her outrage? Like, what have you done? How dare you do this?
Right.
After all this, I mean, that I have also contributed to it.
Right.
I made sure you built
She-
it.
yeah.
You destroyed it.
Right.
And yet she stays on. For 13 years, she stays on in that place in which she stays with Vidur. Can you imagine the number of taunts she must be receiving
Exactly,
from Duryodhan, from her own son Karn, etc. That your kids have already screwed up and they've gone. Because she is a living reminder
Right.
that my sons will be back and they will demand their rights and they should get their rights. So she remains there like a living reminder. This is one extraordinary woman we're talking about.
It is.
And so on. So I'm saying that in Kunti I find that every time there was a setback, and there were huge setbacks, huge, okay, husband dies, brak, then uske baad Duryodhan tries to destroy them and they're completely alone like mendicants. They're walking around in the jungle. This queen, proud queen,
Right.
is forced to live that life, and she bides her time in her mind, clearly declaring to the world, we will be back. And she brings them back, all that. And once again, and in the end also she sticks to, out of great compassion and perhaps a sense of guilt also, because her son had killed all the
Right.
100 sons
Hundreds
of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah, of course.
So she goes with them to the forest, much as Yudhishthir and Arjun and Bhim beg her that stay with us now,
Right.
you can live your old age in comfort.
Right. Yeah.
She insists on going with them.
Right.
This dimension was also there, and
Yeah.
that I find the whole relationship between her and Gandhari also extremely complex.
Right.
Their kids are sworn to kill each other and do, and yet they
Yeah, yeah.
manage to salvage their
Right.
bond and their mutual sort
It
of,
survives.
affection for each other. So it's this, I'm saying, when you dwell over any of the characters, you suddenly begin to realize that there are so many dimensions, because the myth, the epic, the text of the epic doesn't give you a psychological analysis of them. It's not a commentary. But through these various actions, in this summary that I've given you of 5 minutes of Kunti, you begin to realize that there is a lot to her. Whereas you tend to relegate these women into the background. Yeah, these were people who were also there.
Right.
It's not about being also there. They made it happen.
Right, yeah. They were the reason
You
it
take
happened.
Kunti away, and nothing would have happened. There are no Pandavas. Nothing
Right.
would have happened. Nothing. They would have bloody died, without any children and all. She's the one who takes the initiative. She all this put together.
Yeah.
She changed history. So did Draupadi. So did Gandhari. You remember the time of the thing? That it changes the course of history. Ganga, Satyavati, Amba. These are people who made the story happen.
Which also, brings me that in that time also, right?
Yeah.
The female characters were so empowering and so well written in that time too.
Yeah,
which is
much
amazing.
against the common
Right.
perception. The perception that we have is the patriarchal version which has been handed down to us and to children.
Yeah, one should go back and see these characters.
One should dwell on that and
Right.
cut through the
Right.
patriarchal prism and the color and the prejudice here.
Right.
And to see, to me, if I were to be allowed to make a sweeping statement, I would say the Mahabharata is essentially the story of its women.
It is.
These are the strong women which actually
You
made
just
it
take
happen.
the female characters out, and to me there are no epics anymore.